What's going on, YouTube? AlphonZeus up Team Gradelock here with another episode of Unlocking Your Week, episode 69. We're going to be starting off with the local results that happened at Game On for both Cardfight Vanguard and Future Card Buddyfight, as well as some updates on the recent tournament that happened for Buddyfight, in which Arturo managed to enter just today, really. This was in Atlanta, Georgia for the Bushi World 2014 World Championship qualifiers. So we'll start off with that, and after that we'll see what we can do for the agenda for this week in terms of video content. And after that, we will conclude with the episode breakdown of what is the final episode of Season 4. Let's start off with the Cardfight Vanguard Tag Team Tournament that took place this past Friday at Game On. We had 5 teams enter, and so we had top 2. After the double elimination rounds, we had Sam and John running the Liberators, headed by Monarch Sanctuary Alfred, as well as Omega Glendios fighting side by side as a tag team, piloted by both Sam and John. And then also the other team that topped were Jenna and Joe, with the Genesis Yadagarasu standing Vanguard, as well as Raging Form Dragon. So congrats to both teams for making it to the top 2 at the tournament. So in total, 10 people entered. And then let's get into the Saturday tournament. For this time, we actually wanted to switch things up a bit, since a lot of people were actually really feeling a lot of buddy fight, especially with the amount of playtesting that took place in the store. We ended up having actually 2 back-to-back tournaments of buddy fight, which actually it went by pretty quickly, considering the length of how a buddy fight game can go, especially with the new impact of the decks in terms of Dragon World, Darkness Dragon World, Legend World, even some old school Ancient World, if I would like to call that ancient. If I would like to call Ancient World old school, well, ancient, why not? So the first tournament I entered in with the Gorgon Waifus with a splash of Asgard in the form of Fenrir, Gluttony for the first tournament, then I took it out, as well as the Rune Staff to help with that gauge. With the first round, I actually went up against Henry. He was running the Dragon World Thunder Knights, and I wasn't really getting an offense going. He always had size 2, size 1, and he managed to get, of course, a general out to make sure, give all those Thunder Knights +1 crit. And, of course, the other Dragon Knight where you get to, move and draw. Or at least when called, if there's another Dragon Knight, draw. I was able to really build up his gauge quite well. And to be honest, I was trying to think what would be worth negating. And, of course, I think Formation, yes, that is one. As well as some key attacks. Some. Just some. But he 2-0'd me. I couldn't really make much of an offense outside of that. Trying with Uriel, Medusa. Medusa, I wasn't only able to pop 1 card, and I had to discard a card from my hand. And Gorgon, of course, it helps with Krishnor when I bring him out, but it wasn't really doing too well against the Thunder Knight matchup, because he was able to play around it, so the losses would be minimal, and I wasn't able to really bounce back. Especially with the double attack sword that he equipped, because that really kind of did me in, because I know I couldn't negate that 2 damage. It was 2 damage, but it was a double attack for 1. So I lost that round. Next round, I went up against Burns. He was running Ancient World, of course, with Sigurd. And even without the 2 key cards in the new promo that just launched, our story unfortunately didn't get it, which he was kind of mad about, because that's the only reason he would enter this tournament. And both him and CK are going Sigurd fight, so it's going to be pretty damn hard in order to try and get those playsets that are so much needed for the deck, whether it's to search for that size 3 Dragon Lord or to nullify a spell. Because those are 2 key cards that make Sigurd such a boss monster that he can go toe-to-toe with the biggest and baddest monsters that you have seen ever in all of the worlds of Buddy Fight, including Jackknife Ritter and Fenrir. So, looking at what happens right there, in Ancient World, I wasn't really able to do much. I didn't have, Breathing Guards to negate those key spells. I had to let him do Rat Trigger and stuff, because he had 2 soul. Every time, it's always consistent. Always put 2 cards into soul, and then you have Rat Triggers and other cards to just pop monsters on the field to make sure that either Uriel doesn't get a double attack, or that I lose my monsters because he used Rat Trigger, and he did a counter attack. Of course, because regular Seeker stats are pretty dumb. So, moving on to the next match, I actually went up against Precise. And for Precise, he was running Danger World, Armor Knight Aces. And I lost to him because he was playing extremely smart in terms of, utilizing the weapon as well as getting those monsters out to have a pretty clean field to go in for game. I remember he even equipped the Axe at one point, which means that you can't call monsters in the center, but that doesn't matter because you're swinging for 3 damage and a 6,000 power, which is pretty good for Danger World. And he had, survival chances. He had the Sharp, Dragon Fang, Declaration, their own spell nullifier, and of course the size zeros. It's very good to see, I just got rocked pretty much. I was trying to use Medusa. I was only able to pop one monster on the field, of course. People can play around that pretty well to make sure that the losses will be minimal unless you are trying to go into the game. And a lot of times I actually use power mythology to negate attacks. The only time I actually use it for other things was that whether I'm going for game, and if I have Fenrir on board and there's a monster in the center, the guy has like 6 or less life, go power, give it penetrate, and then swing it for that game. Or if it's Seeger, I have Uriel and I have Medusa on board, might as well give them the 5k power. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to really get the gates for Wrath Trigger, because possibly he has another one in hand or something like that. So I went 0-3. And then the 4th round, I think I just got the bye. So 1-3, not really good. But I lost to Dragon World, Ancient World, and Danger World, respectively. My Legend World deck really didn't do that well at all. The people who topped, though, I know there were 4, so we had Burns with Ancient World, we had Henry with the Other Knights of Dragon World, we had Josh with Gold Ritter, Jackknife Gold Ritter of Dragon World, and then the 4th person was Justin with his Dungeon World hybrid. So, 2 Dragon Worlds, an Ancient World, and Dungeon World. Not too bad for a top 4, so congrats to those who managed to get them, and we'll be looking forward to see what you pull from those prize packs next week. Because since Game On wasn't able to give out those packs as prize support, at least Jesse promised us, or at least the top 4, that they would give you the booster packs as well as a playmat on top of that. So, major plus either way, you just have to wait another week or so. So, feeling a bit bad, I actually consulted one of my friends, Modesto, and he was also building the Gorgon Waifus. He had a build different from mine, and of course, kind of like get Glutnir out of there, because of course, with all the gauge that I'm running, you can just really hard cast Fenrir and have no such problems with that. It really isn't. And then I try to think, alright, well, in addition to the Moonstaff, I should probably have other things as well, such as the Aegis armor, which means that I can reduce damage taken by other effects, outside of combat damage by 1, and penetrate would count. So I get to at least reduce that penetrate damage, especially for those that only have 1 damage on the board. And that could help me out a lot in playtesting. As we headed towards the 2nd Buddy Fight tournament, we ended up having just 3 rounds of Swords Top 2, because there were only 8 people that managed to enter the tournament. So I took my modified Legend World deck and see what I can make out of it. In terms of performing, at least I thought I did better than usual. In terms of the both rounds, I went up against Modesto's Dungeon World hybrid, and he just rocked me pretty much. I couldn't do much with the continues, the hot strings. This time I tried to at least not go and destroy the adventurer, because of course, even with the soul guard that Drum has, he would be able to get 2 adventurer cards right off the bat, and then continue his way out. And it was just revival after revival after revival. It's just a lot of overwhelming stuff. And I was able to get Medusa out to clear his whole field, but of course he would have continues and other cards as well to make sure his hand is replenished and that his strategy can go for another round. Couldn't do well against that. Now, 2nd round I ended up playing Dex, and he was running the Danger World Aces. 1st round I actually lost because I didn't really have Negate Attacker, which I kind of felt bad about because I charged it, because I probably should have done that first. I probably should have kept it, because just in case if he goes in for, soul charge and get plus, 2 damage for that 5 damage swing, I probably should have just kept it in hand so I can probably live another turn to see what I could do. Unfortunately, that wouldn't be the case. So I went losing 0-2. The 2 people that topped there were both Dex and Modesto, so at least the people I lost to, they made it to the top. And it's good. Okay, so they get also prize support as well. So, seeing what we have Danger World and Dungeon World. So from the 2 Buddy Fight tournaments that we had on that Saturday, we had 2 Dungeon Worlds, 2 Dragon Worlds, an Ancient World, and 2 Dragon, 2 Dungeon, 1 Ancient, and a Danger. Not too bad. Or 2 Danger. I'm sorry. My mind is a bit off today. Now, with the Buddy Fight really starting to solidify its place, I actually want to give an update as to what happened at Atlanta. Arturo is posting in the Facebook group pretty often about his status. He actually took Jackknife Gold Ritter to the tournament. He ended up going 5-1. Now, according to the Facebook post that he posted, I just wanted to ask him for at least his matchups. And there were 6 rounds of Swiss to a cut of top 8. We saw him face off against a Darkness Dragon World deck and won. We see in round 2 another Darkness Dragon World deck and he won. Then round 3 he faced Legend World. I'm not sure what the builds are. I can at least tell you what worlds are they. He lost against Legend World. Then Dragon World he won, and then Dragon he won, and Dungeon he won. So he ended up going 5-1. He made it to top 8 in 6th place after the top 8 cut. Then he went up to the top 8 playoff rounds. First round he played off against Dragons, he won. Then Dungeons and won. And then final match, I'm not sure if it was a mirror match between Jackknife Gold Ritter or maybe it was a Jackknife versus Thunder Knights. Whatever the case may be, he won that one as well. And he went on to win the Buddyfight World Championship Qualifiers 2014 in Atlanta. So everybody at Team Gradelock very proud of him for not only traveling so far from Jersey to Atlanta, but for actually winning the tournament and proving his consistency quite a bit. He's topped every single World Championship qualifier that he's been to, from the Albany one to Chicago from last year, National Championship, as well as now in Atlanta. So now that he secured his spot and got himself some free accommodations to travel to the National Championship tournament, we'll be looking forward to see what the progress is going to be, especially the impact on the locals, since a number of our members also wanted to jump onto Gold Ritter as well, and Josh is kind of upset about that, since a lot of people are going to be jumping onto that, because he was the OG Jackknife player of our team, at least. So with those results in place, I'm not sure what happened to the Cardfight Vanguard tournament that occurred at Atlanta, but of course you can always consult some of the groups in the North American Cardfight Vanguard group or the Vanguardians as well to see if they posted any status updates about that tournament in particular. Now, moving on to video content. For this week, we have a Cardfight Vanguard match for you between Modesto and Alex. Gold Paladin Liberators versus the Revengers of Shadow Paladin. It's going to be a match. I'm going to see if I can try and upload it either on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And then the sneak preview for you guys, we're going to be doing a giveaway video. I'm going to post up a video sometime this week. Hopefully, it will be before Friday, and I'll give the details on what's going to be given away, as well as ways to win the said giveaway prize. So you can stay tuned for that. Now, we got this underway. I gotta say, in terms of Team Gradelock, definitely grew quite a bit. We actually have 12, 13 members, which is pretty big for a team, I know. A lot of people actually do want to join, which is, I welcome it. It's that since we're getting a bit big, it's kind of hard to manage it. I don't know, I kind of look at this team as a guild, because, we're all here from different walks of life, and we're here for, we love the game. We love the game. Of course, Vanguard Casino can be harsh at times, but other times it's what led us to make this team in the first place. And I gotta say, we're really proud of it, and it grew really well. We started off, of course, beforehand with Team Iron Man 12 with Mike, Darnell, Rowan, Otto, Josh, myself, and Mike. And then with the 6 of us, and then we had Gary later on, we ended up going to Game On, played a couple bit, and then we added Henry onto the team. And then from then, we actually went on to say, how do I say? Once we really got into Cardfight Vanguard after set 7, some people had to drop out because they had other things going on for themselves, and we had to see what's going to happen. Well, now, after we reformed to Team Gradelock, after what happened at the New York Regional with Mike, Henry, CK, Josh, and myself, I attended there because I wanted to support the guys, and of course, it didn't really turn out as well because either they faced each other or they got Gradelock against their opponent. It was a pretty crazy regional tournament. Even though the shop qualifiers were pretty hype, it was sad to see how the regional really went down like that for us. And so we remade the Team Gradelock. And then from that point on, once we did that, we added on the 4 new members in the form of, we had Ian, Alex, Jason, and John. And then after that, we actually ended up adding more people. So with CK, Josh, Henry, myself, and then Mike, but Mike actually left because he moved on to other things. And then we had Alex, Ian, Jason, and John. And then we added more people in the forms of, we had Ryan, we had Burns, Adam, Arturo, and then we have Travis. So 13 people, that's a lot to manage, a lot to take account for. But of course, we want to make sure everybody on the team will be good to go. And then of course we have one of our biggest contributors, Joe. We consider him a part of the team because he was the one that made the logo, helped out with, the channel, trying to edit content, provide videos. Of course, another thing, he's going to be recording a re-record of his Buddy Fight Katana World Skull Warrior deck that he managed to make it to top 8 at the Albany Regional. I know, I apologize, you haven't put that up recently, but of course Joe will be working on it, and of course he'll probably send me the data just to make sure everything's all good, and I'll upload it hopefully sometime this week. And now that we've done everything here, give you a little history of how Team Gradelock before Team Iron Man 12 came to be, and then the YouTube channel. Now we can finally move on to the, hopefully, this should be the season ender for Cardfight Vanguard of Season 4, Ride 196. Of course, spoiler alert, if you don't want to get spoiled on the episode, I will be talking about this a lot. So if you don't want to be spoiled, feel free to pause, close the video, go watch that episode. If you want to come back right here to hear me talk about it, feel free to. If not, you can just close out the video and be on your merry way. So Ride 196, Vanguards. Now this is the end of Season 4. I apologize that didn't really come out the way I thought it would be in terms of the last one. But of course, it's the high school graduation tournament. It's a really big swan song just to send off characters that we knew and loved, that we grew up with over the past 3 or so years, to see them move on to other things. And I gotta say, there are a lot of screenshots here that I really did like, and I'm gonna do a lot of narration. So let's start off with the first picture. In this picture, we get to see a reunion of the team that happened in Season 3 between the Cardfight Club that started with Aichi, Misaki, Naoki, and Shingo, outside of Korin, of course. But it's kind of cool to see how Shin is just really taking a lot of pictures for this Misaki Memorial celebration. And of course, it was kind of sweet how he did it for her family, her parents, because I know they would have been really smiling at this, despite seeing the look on Misaki's face that you see right now. And here we see Aichi giving a farewell speech to the graduating class of the high school. Of course, this is the same Aichi that we've seen ever since Season 1. He's pretty timid when he goes up against a group of a lot of people and he's the only one speaking. Although that this episode does skip what he exactly says, I would have loved to see what he would exactly say at a time like this, to just see how far he really gotten. Because of course in Season 1 he was very timid, very shy, but at least now he was able to talk and at least get through the introduction without much trouble. Because this scene in particular makes us really salty that we didn't get to see or hear the entire speech. Because, man, seeing how Aichi is doing that, I have never seen him do a double facepalm in this series yet, or even in the manga at this rate. But if you actually do see Aichi doing that particular pose, feel free to comment down below with where that is, whether it's in the manga or an earlier episode of the anime. But I thought this was a very funny part of this episode. Now, of course, after the scene where Shin would admit that he would take the pictures for Misaki's parents, we get to see Team Ultra Rare once again, this time shooting the commercial for Ultra Water. But we get to see them just begin to promote Cardfight Vanguard, and I hoped in this case would restore the memories that they have lost, especially of Korin with the memories that she had with the high school Cardfight Club, as well as with Aichi. And then we see the second major part of this episode, which is the tournament that took place at Cardfight Capital, which apparently attracted people from the entire series near and far. A lot of times when they faced off against members of Aichi's team, all the way back in Season 4, from Team Q4, all the way up to Season 4 in terms of the mates and versus the Quattro Knights. Now, the thing is though, we actually do see the Quattro Knights, or at least the 3 remaining ones that decided to stay with Aichi, for Galliard, Neve, and Rati, in their respective countries, and seeming like they're all good to go, that, even though they still have the memories, that each of them is happy and, they want to keep in touch, or at least through pen pals, because I'm not sure how exactly technology would be such a factor that maybe they wanted a little bit more intimate with their friendship in terms of just writing. Because, of course, letters, they are kind of a godsend, and it's really personal rather than just have like a text or an email. So I give it that much to them. But the thing is, going back to the tournament, seeing all these card fighters for one last grand tournament, oh dear, that's going to be a lot of pictures. So where do we begin? Let's start off with Aichi's sister Emmy and her friend Mai, probably rocking the Bermuda Triangle of mermaids. And then we have Kamui, Probably one of the more prevalent figures in seasons 1 and 2, rocking the Nova Grapplers straight to his core. And then we see Goki of Team Handsome running the Grand Blue, one of 3 people that are clan exclusive. But of course, we also see Nagisa. I like this screenshot, especially how they actually dropped that fact about marriage and girls in her grade. And then we see a throwback to Season 2 in the forms of Leon and the twins, Charlene and Jillian, the Aquaforce representation of the party. We even get to see the underground fighter June and Miwa, our Lord and Savior, in the shot together, kind of looking like a tag team. What's the party without Morikawa and Izaki? I want to see all the grade 3s in his hand right away to see that power. And then we get to see Ninja Master M rocking the Nubatama. I wish I could have seen a card out from him, along with the next fighter, which happens to be Osamu Kishida, the guy rocking the Mega Colony. I would have loved to see just those new cards just premiere, just that one more time. And then we go into the teams of Team AL4, Ren, Asaka, and Tetsu, just rocking the old school look. We even see Team Kaiser with Kenji, Gao, and Yuri, D-Police, and OTT for Yuri in the house. And Team SIT Genius, where we see Chris, Ali, and Lee. Oh man, the great nature people once again. And everybody is looking like they're having a great time, all the way down from seeing Aichi drop Blaster Blade, the OG, in the house, and all the kids going, wow, what's going on? So just hearing Kai attack, and of course seeing Morikawa and Usamu getting rocked by freaking Ninja Master M and Yuri, respectively, and seeing the classic battle between Kai and Ren. Ren making a very interesting ploy to Kai, saying, oh, you don't like me then, but you like me now. Oh my goodness. You gotta love that little bromance between those two fighters. And of course, Kai's like, no, I did not like the old you, not one bit. And it was kind of cool just to see one more time everybody, because it signifies the end of a generation, as we've seen from the previews for the new season of Season 5, the G Zone, or Generation Zone. Oh man, it kind of brings tears to my eyes when I just see this episode. I see everybody having a good time, you know, no Gradelocks, or no shenanigans of any kind, no reverse douchebagginess, or even the mates trying to forget memories of each other, or something like that. And this episode ended on quite a good note, because of course we see end between Kai and Aichi, the final fight, which kind of defines it, because it was the first fight that we've seen in Season 1, Episode 1. And we have the episode end there, and therefore Season 4 is complete. I can't believe I managed to actually do all of this in that season. Because I did part or half of Season 3, and then I managed to cover everything of Season 4. Right up from the beginning all the way to the end. And I hope that you enjoyed this journey from when I just started you just talking to my face, or me talking to you, whatever the case may be, to actually starting to include screenshots of the episodes so that you can at least see the story that I am telling you, and my opinion on what happened, what could have happened, what should have happened, or any other thing that pops into my mind. But thank you for this journey. Thank you for all of this. And now we get to see and look forward to Season 5, where we see Stride, and we see the old school units getting Great Legion or something like that. I don't know. When that picture was posted up with MOB and the End together, Garmor and, you know, the Eradicator Descendants together, it's just, alright, are we finally going to see that clan mixing or something else? Whatever the case may be, I'm going to watch this anime for a long time. And even though I may not play the card game competitively that much anymore, I will still watch the episode just to see what's going on, because I care for these characters. They are just really freaking awesome. And I grew up with them, because I think it said it best on the Cardfight Vanguard memes page, that a lot of us, when we met through Vanguard, it really was something. How Aichi's journey, when he started out just, the shy kid in class, and he met Kai, and then he met Misaki and Kamui, and then he grew. He grew up all the way from middle school all the way to high school, met all these friends, made all these rivals, went through every single type of plot that I've ever seen in my entire life, from Ren and the Shadow Paladins, especially when they introduced cross rides, to Season 2 when you go into Limit Break mode and you go up against Aquaforce, then Season 3 when Link Joker goes in, and then Season 4 when Link Joker comes back again, and now it's accepted. So, I don't know, it seems it seems like there's going to be a couple more seasons left in the tank for Cardfight Vanguard. I just don't know how the card game is going to turn out because, of course, I've said before, Cardfight Vanguard is kind of like a casino. You go in there, you have fun most of all because who goes to a casino to make money? Not a lot of people. We just go there just to have fun and just drop money on stuff and have a $40 card in hand that you can't ride because you don't have a grade 2 Vanguard that you have. And yeah, that pretty much conducts it for the entire episode. When season 5 starts up, I will be, doing the breakdowns yet again. But if there aren't any breaks whatsoever, I will at least talk about maybe the Buddy Fight episode as filler. I'm still trying to see how I can do in terms of actually making an episode dedicated to Buddy Fight. Because now, this week, I'm actually starting classes for my paralegal studies program. That's going to be a 6-month program where I go to school Monday to Thursday, 9:30 a.m. to 12:30. So there's a lot of time I can dedicate, but of course, you got to factor in the homework and other things that I'd rather do for that. And I'll still be doing stuff for the YouTube channel, of course. And we're going to see where it leads us. Because, obviously moving on, kind of like, I feel like I've grown up with Aichi for a while, and I like to take on some of his personalities, because especially when I meet new people for the first time, sometimes I can be very shy, very reserved, and a lot of saying that I'm sorry. But that's it for the episode. Of course, if I managed to miss anything in this last episode of Season 4, feel free to comment down below and get that started. And after that, that is it for me. My name is AlphonZeus of Team Gradelock. I hope that you've enjoyed this week that I've unlocked for you, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.